From DC Sports Radio 106.7 The Fan, this is In the Pits. Brought to you by Chandler & Sons Automotive, your Jasper engine and transmission specialists. By Lehigh Auto Body and Service Center, family owned and operated for over 70 years. By Auto Expectations, the shop that brings experience, reliability, and the need for speed to a higher level. By NetSpread, interactive internet and social media marketing. The In the Pits Pit Crew. East Hills Drag Racing Hall of Famer Johnny Rocca. Veteran spotter and senior editor at motorsport.com, Dave Reininger. Editor and publisher of Late Model Racer Magazine and the Encyclopedia of Short Track Racing, Craig Merzo. Veteran NASCAR driver and current driver of the number 50 ATI Performance Products Dirt Late Model, Jason the Juice Smith. And your host, the man about motorsports, Larry O.
Welcome to episode 132 of In the Pits Racing Radio. Coming at you from CBS Sports 106.7 The Fan. It is not Saturday morning. We just lied to you. It is Wednesday night. We are taping this show live at Do-It-Yourself Mechanics in Sterling, Virginia. We've got a really great crowd out here. And ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, we haven't figured out a nickname for Liam yet. Please welcome Formula 3 driver of the Jetta TDI Cup, Craig.
Liam the Leadfoot Kenny. Actually, kind of like that.
From Sterling, Virginia, Liam Kenny, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
We've got a pretty interesting show lined up. Oh, I got a nickname for him. A squirt. Squirt?
What?
John still thinks this is the Little Rascals, ladies and gentlemen. He can't really help it, but, you know. All right, that was the only clean one I know.
How about LK?
Yeah.
What are we doing today?
On today's show, first of all, I want to thank Mimi's Cafe for providing the food for us, ladies and gentlemen. It is wonderful food. We'll have Amber on from Mimi's here in a few minutes to talk about what you can expect when you dine at Mimi's Cafe, a fine restaurant. They're out of Southern California. I know they got 2 locations in Northern Virginia, one in Gainesville, and of course, one right here at the Dulles Town Center Mall.
Their food is addictive.
Oh, it's incredible.
I don't like it because it's from Southern California.
In the house.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, you can go back. That's the land of fruit and nuts, dude.
Well, you know, hey.
In the house with us, ladies and gentlemen, the driver of the number 99 DITY hobby stock car, Mr. Jim Mallon. He'll come on the air with us in a little bit.
Hey, Jim.
Don't give a big hand for Mike Mallon, who does all of our events and promotions with us here at Performance Motorsports Marketing. This Saturday, I want to let everybody know we will be running the NASCAR booth at the 25th anniversary Joe Gibbs Youth for Tomorrow Country Fair. You're going to see all kinds of race cars out there, but on top of that, it's just a great event. They're even having pig chases out there. John, you know what that is?
Yes.
You're a farmer.
Yeah, I grew up in this area.
Well, I've heard of
I went to school around here.
I've heard of cow tipping, but I've never heard of pig race.
What do you do with it when you catch it?
I have no idea.
It's going on the smoker.
For the radio listeners, that's today, right?
Today, yes. For you guys listening to us on the air, it is today. It starts at 11 o'clock at the country at the Joe Gibbs Youth Home in Bristow, Virginia. They have a frontier land out there, which they've especially designed for Johnny Rocca, our resident Indian. They are letting the Indians take over. It'll be run by the Cherokee Nation today, so there'll be a lot of interesting Indian stuff out there. Coach Gibbs, Larry Michaels from another radio station, which we can't mention on these airwaves, will be your host. And some of us will be out there running the NASCAR simulators and giving away a lot of prizes there as well. So we expect on our phone line here in the next break, Ashley Forrest Hood, the driver of the Castrol GTX Top Fuel Funny Car, currently sitting 4th in points. She's going to join us on the air. On Sunday, the 3rd of October, most of us will be going to Solomon's Island for the offshore Power Boat Race Championships. Oh, Juice?
That's it. I can't wait.
Don't we have a cook involved in that? Chef food involved?
Chef Robert Hess and his Catamarans restaurant are our host down there. It's the first time we'll ever be exposed to water. Hopefully we won't melt.
Without Jack Daniels in it?
Yep, exactly. I want to remind everybody tonight as well, it's 8:30 at Sal's New York Bar and Grill out there in Leesburg. Will be comedy night. He's bringing in a legendary comedian from Las Vegas, Matt Kazan, and the other act out there is Mike Way. These guys are known all over the country, been on Comedy Central a bunch of times. We're going to talk a little bit about Clint Boyer. This is an issue tonight that just doesn't seem to want to go away, right, Juice?
I don't know why we are still talking about it personally, but the fact is, it's got the racing world all wound up, and it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. I mean, this is going to probably be a major hot topic till the end of the season.
Well, we didn't have Craig in the studio with us last week, so this is fresh news for him to fondle, you might want to say. Craig, I know you rarely have an opinion on anything, but I mean, so what do you think about them picking on their favorite son, Richard Childress?
I think that you probably heard more truth from Denny Hamlin than what the Richard Childress camp wants to let on. Denny Hamlin made the comment that this is nothing new, this has been going on for months. And when you look at the size of the penalty, I can believe that.
Well, do you think that Denny has now opened up a can of worms in the fact that he is probably one of the best contenders for the chase this year, and now he's going to be fighting against all the Childress cars?
Well, let me point out something to you. If Kevin Harvick wants to start that, I know of another Joe Gibbs teammate named Joe Logano who is not even in the chase and owes Harvick at least one
Shot in the wall.
Shot in the wall, exactly. So Kevin Harvick would be wise to leave it at the fender rubbing he did at practice at Dover and let it go.
Yeah, and if you don't think that Denny Hamlin opened the can of worms, then just look at that first practice session at Dover where they went out there and Harvick dumped Hamlin, and they both lost about 15-20 minutes of practice in the first session.
Yeah, and it should end right there.
I agree.
He shouldn't have got that far.
Shouldn't have got that far.
But he has the best possible run of any of the chase contenders, and for him to go out there and say that, I just think that he probably is going to eat his words and regret that.
Well, he certainly had some type of reason to stir the pot. Exactly what that is, I don't really know.
He was asked about it. He just said, it's nothing new, it's been going around the garage area for months. And I can believe it. Denny Hamlin isn't one to lie to you. And the way he came out with it, he said it so matter-of-factly, I can't help but believe he's telling the truth.
For the benefit of our listeners, let's tell them what we're talking about, what preceded.
Well, the Richard Childress team, Clint Boyer in specific, got in trouble for hanging the body wrong, just by about a 1/16 of an inch,
Yes,
was it?
60 thousandths of an inch.
Yeah, the width of a quarter.
Hanging the body wrong on the Cub. And apparently they were warned about this after the race at Richmond. That's public knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, too, there is a tolerance, and this is 60 thousandths of an inch over the tolerance. So, where do you draw the line, kind of thing? You got to make that decision, and that's why they have the tolerance. So,
What about the bumping in the butt he took? Congratulations when he won the race.
That's
he
what
got hit in the ass.
That's what they're saying.
Twice.
After the victory at New Hampshire, the tow truck pushed him in the victory lane. Not only did he make contact with the car, a number of other drivers came up and gave him a congratulatory.
Well, that's what Richard Childress is saying in his defense. But let me ask you guys, does getting hit by a tow truck, is that going to move where a weld is?
All right. Let's. We get a weekly phone call from NASCAR. A phone call that came in that week, sat there and said, "What did you think of the fine?" I said it seemed pretty excessive. And the comment made back by a NASCAR official who shall remain nameless was, "The crime fit the punishment." In other words, we had our eye on him. We knew what they were doing. I really think it's kind of bogus in a way. He wasn't winning the race. Tony Stewart was winning the race. He won because smoke ran out of fuel. But by the same token, if he was warned that he was cheating, and the next time we're going to catch you, then so be it.
They told him he was close on his tolerance.
I just don't like the fact that they took the car after the race. It went through tech like it did before it had passed. Then they take the car to the NASCAR Tech Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, where 3 days later it fails.
And they use different processes. They can't make the determinations they made in the tech center at the racetrack. They don't have the equipment there.
Most of the shops don't have the equipment.
Exactly.
To the tech center too. But the fact too is that the way the body is hung, it's still, they give them leeway, and it's beyond that leeway by 60 thousandths of an inch. And I think that, the question like Larry brought up is, does the punishment fit the crime? we don't know all the whole story. We really don't know. And NASCAR has not come out to specifically say anything.
So we get to speculate. If they're not going to tell us what's going on, then we get to talk about it. We get to talk to people about it and see what they've got to say. We all have to form opinions. We're human beings, right?
So let me get this straight. Basically, what ended up happening was they took a car that they had given the official result to and passed, and then took it to the tech center and failed it and took away said official result. Wasn't official yet.
They let the wind stand, but they basically took his points away.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they fined his crew chief and car chief
And
6
suspended
weeks
them for
suspension and $150,000 fine.
I think that's a bit excessive, to be honest, and especially if they had already posted the results as being official.
Is it excessive if, as Denny Hamlin said, this is widespread news, everybody in the garage area knew about it, they've been getting warned about it for months?
But Richard Childress came out and said that he brought brand new cars down to the lug nuts. New bodies, new frames, motors,
It
everything
doesn't matter if they build them wrong, they build them wrong. If they build them out of spec, they build them out of spec.
He says, how stupid would I have been to bring a car that's illegal, known illegal, to the track at exactly after one race after I've already been warned about it.
Okay, I have a question. Now, for the radio listeners, I know it's Saturday morning, you may already know the answer to this, but we're pre-recording this on Wednesday. Have they heard the appeal yet?
The appeal is happening right now. Actually, as of 5 o'clock this afternoon, they were still in deliberation over it, and it was a 4-hour plus deliberation. By the time this show airs, the answer will be out.
Well, the interesting thing is, I don't think a thing's going to change, and there's always the chance that NASCAR could come back and levy a heavier fine, which they do in half the cases.
I suspect they'll give him half his points back.
They very rarely overturn their decision, and just to address what Liam said, they don't overturn a victory because they want the fans leaving the track knowing who won.
Unlike Formula One, who will take away a win a week later.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you also have the whole marketing side of that, how the dollars come into the sport and how the dollars are being, divvied out according to those races, and that's something that's totally different. But they aren't going to take something away from the sponsors that are already spending good money in the sport.
And that was General Mills' first one. That's the shame of it all. We're starving for sponsors in motorsports right now. This week, 3 or 4 of the nationwide teams said that they do not have the funds. Even Taylor Bain doesn't have the funds to come back in 2011. So, what's going to happen with that?
They're a top 10 team.
Exactly.
Top 10 team in nationwide series that don't have, enough funds to come back in 2011.
Well, speaking of sponsors, we're going to pay for a few of ours, and want to thank Edco for having us out here at Mimi's Cafe. You're listening to the fastest hour on your radio dial in the pits on CBS.